Hello everyone and welcome to the Hallyu Insider, the podcast where we give you the inside scoop on Korea. My name is Hannah.
My name is Mama.
It's lovely to have you guys. So today, as always, I think that we should start off with the COVID news for Korea for today. Fama, do you know just how many cases we have at the moment?
I saw that you guys have around 100,000 cases, which is kind of double what we discussed last week. So I would like to know what happened exactly.
I think you and pretty much everyone else. Yeah, it's shocking. It's kind of unbelievable. It's like I'm kind of laughing because otherwise we'd all be crying, that kind of situation. But I do think, like we've been saying in the past up until now, it does seem to mostly be Omicron, which is obviously why it's spreading more, but why it's also not as serious for most people, thank God. But still, 100,000 cases is, yeah, overwhelming.
So what are the restrictions currently?
So actually the current restrictions are set to end this Sunday. So every 2 weeks, the government tends to review the restrictions and decide whether or not to extend them or to change them. But actually, I think they're deciding on Friday, which is, oh my gosh, tomorrow. Wow, this week's gone by really fast. So tomorrow, they're expected to announce whether or not they're going to change them. And currently, there is a 9 p.m. curfew, and the maximum number of people that can gather is 6 people. So they're considering raising the maximum number of people that can gather to 8 people. And they're also considering extending the curfew to 10 p.m. instead of 9 p.m.
But that doesn't make really much sense to me personally, because we doubled the cases from last week. So why would you extend the gathering at this point? Shouldn't it be more controlled than anything else?
I can understand why that would be your first instinct, and that was also my first instinct. But there are a few things I think that you have to consider. And the first thing, this isn't science or data. This is my personal opinion. But because of the curfew, what happens, especially when because people are still going out, people are still trying to live their lives as normally as possible. So what happens if you have a 9 p.m. or a 10 p.m. or whatever p.m. curfew is that at 9 p.m. at the moment, everyone gets kicked out. And everyone's on the street at the same time in these giant groups, and everyone's crossing the street at the same time, and everyone's getting the subway at the same time, and everyone's getting the bus at the same time. So I can only imagine how much transmission takes place during these times. And apart from that, you also have to consider the impact that these curfews are having on small businesses. So I think that there are quite a few protests by small business owners asking the government to actually support them properly, because obviously they've lost a lot of money. And I also know that because of, Korea has a very prominent drinking culture, but obviously if people aren't going out to drink, businesses are losing a lot of money. Like there must be so much money if people aren't drinking alcohol. So I think, businesses are looking at people drinking at home to try and make up for some of those losses, which in itself is kind of, I can understand why, but then do we really want to encourage drinking at home? So there are just so many layers, to the restrictions and the curfew, but it's
so
tough.
Interesting, because I agree with you in terms of the small businesses. Like we should, at least the government should support in some way. I know they've been supporting, and giving funding and stuff like that, but we keep going back to this back and forth, let's restrict, let's not restrict. So we should stick to one thing and just deal with it, and that's it, instead of just 9 p.m. and then 10 and then okay, let's go back to 9 and then 10. And I get it, before there was no Omicron, it was okay, but now Omicron is here. But for me, in terms of people gathering, I feel like it's not going to change anything. People are still going to go out anyway. But I would feel like changing the restriction would benefit the businesses more than anything. And in that sense, I think we had enough businesses closing. If you guys are in Korea, or if you go to Korea, and if you go to places like Hongdae and Myeongdong, you would understand what we're talking about. It's just ridiculous. So many things closed. And
so sad. Myeongdong is like a ghost town. I couldn't believe it when you told me And everyone was telling me before I came back, they were just like, you'll never believe it. Myeongdong, one of the most, the busiest, most vibrant places in Seoul, ghost town. There are just so many empty stores, and it's not even like there are other stores taking their place, or there's not construction, there's not anything being set up. They're literally just sort of empty shells because no one can afford it, no one can use that space, and it's just really, really horrible to see.
There's literally nothing. So in terms of how long this is gonna last, I don't know. I feel like we're never gonna end this stupid COVID. Because we were doing so well, and then yeah.
I think I'm pretty sure I read that the amount of business keeps changing with new data, but I heard that they estimated that the peak, so the surge would probably peak around middle of March, I think. And at that time, I think this was from a few days ago, I was reading this, and they said it would peak at about 170,000 cases a day. But new research from this other institute has shown that their estimate is actually a lot closer to 360,000.
I thought you were going to say something like, you're really bad. I was listening to you and I was just like, well, actually they revised the numbers, and I thought you were going to say like, it's going to be less than that. And then it's literally double.
Was the suspense?
Yeah, it was pretty accurate. It was pretty good. So I'm just like, okay, thank you very much. But no.
You're welcome. I'm trying to be a storyteller.
You're on your way.
I've been watching a lot of horror and thrillers recently, so that must be why.
So I guess writing time for me to come back, huh? That's exciting.
Actually, sorry, no, this is good news. I'm laughing, but I promise I do also think that there's a possibility that the Korean government is going to reduce the quarantine or isolation time again, because if you consider the fact that at the moment, even people who are positive with COVID, they're only isolating for 7 days.
Okay.
And it used to be 14 days, and then it's 10 days, and now it's 7 days. And this, I feel like, it's happened quite quickly. Okay. So I'm wondering if they're going to change the system for people coming into Korea. Because I was talking about this with my friend, and he was also saying, as much as the idea of quarantine is a good thing for Korea, considering that it's not like it's foreigners bringing this in. It's not like you can blame all the foreigners, this tiny percentage of foreigners in Koreans. Right? It's spreading between Koreans and in schools and workplaces. So I think that we'll see. And church cults, let's be honest, are a huge reason behind a lot of the surges, but that's a topic for another day, another deep dive.
Oh, Lord. Well, okay, I guess we can extend from COVID to the new people getting tested positive. Now, my question before we go into that is, I really want to know, how efficient is that vaccine? Because I would say Korean population is pretty highly vaccinated. I think so.
86%, I think, or higher, 87% have had both doses. And I think something close to 80% have had maybe not a third dose, but it's like you're saying, it's very high.
And I'm wondering how, I know they said that the Omicron is a little bit different, and then you do need that third dose, but what's going to happen after the third dose and Omicron is gone and something else comes out?
I think you have a good point. I also think, though, this is like, I'm so like
devil's advocate.
Like I'm so. What if we didn't have the vaccine? I think we can only know what's happened because we have, like, kind of grass is always greener, or you can't tell what would happen, But I really wonder what would happen if we didn't have this vaccine. And I think we're quite, fortunate that a lot of people have such mild symptoms, and the Omicron isn't, killing as many people. And I totally understand people have a real aversion to have, putting more things in their bodies, but it's kind of like the same thing with flu. We get jabs when we're kids for HIV, for all these different diseases. And I do think I'm a big fan of the vaccine. Maybe that's controversial, but I just feel like even if I have a really bad, like a bad reaction to it,
You'd rather
fever
have
or
it.
whatever, I'd rather have it and think that I'm protecting other people, because I'm certain that my body could probably handle COVID. But the fear of giving it to someone else or putting someone else in danger that couldn't handle it, like I'd much rather go through that.
I understand
someone else was safe.
Your position. For me, I feel like, and they had studies like talking about that aspect of the vaccine, like all these doses that we are doing are messing up with our metabolism, and then our natural, I would say, the way our body is composed naturally. And that's the thing that bothers me personally, because I know, like, usually I'm pretty healthy, and
you're very healthy. Everyone, she's very, very healthy.
So I feel like doing the vaccine, like I already did the 2 doses, and thankfully I had like no, side effects or anything. But I feel like keep doing those extra doses. Like I feel like, is it really necessary for me at this point? I feel like maybe I should just sit those ones out for now and see how it goes. But I understand your point. I understand saying how you want to protect other people and make sure that you're doing what you have to do on that level. But
no, I 100% get your point as well. And I think that it's like it would be naive of me to say that I'm not also worried about the side effects, because if we think about all the medication that women were given in the mid 20th century, and then their children had birth defects, or how doctors used to prescribe smoking. So we don't know. We'll never know until 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years later.
That's actually true.
So, I can't sit here and pretend like, oh, it's all great.
No,
I think
that's true.
Like I totally understand. And I understand people who don't want to get the vaccine, not because they're anti-vaxxers, but because they're terrified of dying, or they've had an experience where someone close to them has had a bad reaction to the vaccine and died. So I have so much sympathy. It's just a really terrible situation all around, isn't it?
This can have a whole podcast dedicated to vaccine.
So true, so true. But before we get into the ethics and the sad science parts that we can't really talk about because we don't know about, as non-scientists, who has COVID now? Which celebrities?
Well, right now, V from BTS got tested positive to COVID. So he had mild symptoms. And then he did the test, and then yes, he's positive. And then his teammates already did the. I heard that you have a lot of those self tests, like those ones you do yourself, and I was just like, how accurate are those?
The what is it? Rapid antigens.
Yeah, but those you can do it yourself, right? You can buy it at the.
Was I not telling you this about how when I went to get tested the last 2 times, even at the testing sites, you have to do it yourself now. So you can either buy them at a pharmacy and pay for them, or you can go to a testing site and do them, which is why everyone goes and stands in line because they don't want to spend money on it. But you have to do it yourself, and everyone just sits there going, it's so ugly. And I always have to be helped because I can't like open things. So yeah, it's a struggle.
Hey, I thought there was a way to do this like orally. Why does it have to go through the nose?
In the UK, it's nose and mouth.
Okay.
Or mouth and then nose, because it's not. But
I mean, when I told my brother when I came, and I was just like, I just hate those tests. I just hate them. The PCR test, the antigen, I just hate them, because he's like, oh, it's not that bad. I'm like, it's painful. Like, I think it really depends on who's doing it to you, to be honest. Yes. Because they were like, no, it's actually it's uncomfortable, but it's not that big of a deal. I'm like, I'm so sorry. When I did my first test before I went to the airport, the person who did it for me was okay, but it was still like, oh my God, but it was okay. Oh my God, when I got to the airport, oh Lord, because I had to do another one. I sneezed for at least like 2 minutes. That's how, and she like, and she, it was painful to the point like when she did it, I just like backed out. It was that painful.
My friend had to have her head held forwards because she was like, yeah. So it's bad, everyone. It's bad. I don't know what it is. When I agree with you. When I came to Korea and got them done here after having them done in the UK, I was like, oh, and then I was like, were they doing them right in the UK? Like, if it's supposed to be this painful, like maybe like, is it supposed to go that far up? like, oh my god, it's terrifying.
Guys, if you're overseas and you're planning to come and do any test in Korea, please be mentally prepared because this is no joke. It's different. It's completely different.
Mentally, physically, and emotionally prepared. I hope poor V didn't have to go through that pain.
Oh, poor thing. Well, we wish him like well and, rest.
He seems to be fine. He was uploading lots of things on, Weverse. So, and he's eating eggs. So he seems happy.
Okay.
As happy as you can be with COVID. So.
Any other news? I know actually I had a lot of information this week about BTS, and I know you did as well. So have you seen some of them?
Well, there is something that I thought was quite interesting. BTS fans, fellow armies will rejoice if you can get tickets because BTS will be having their first in-person concert and I think something like 2 years. I think March 12th and 13th of this year.
Correct.
So it's happening. Although, okay, I was a little bit shocked, I'll be honest. I'm sure that obviously they planned this before 100,000 cases a day. But I saw the article up today and, they'd reported it today. So obviously up until today, it's still ongoing.
I agree. And I'm actually a little bit worried too. Because I understand that they have to do this because it was planned, but also I understand how it also happened a couple of years ago where they were planning to do it and then they waited and thought like, it's going to be okay. And then they ended up canceling it. So I guess we'll see. Now, apparently there's going to be half online and half offline. So 2 dates will be offline, the 10th and the 13th. And then apparently the live streaming is going to be on March 12th. Okay. So I don't know how that's going to, and then there's going to be, I don't know. I really don't know. Because one thing, let's be honest, everybody, Koreans are, they follow the rules. So when you say, wear your mask, do this, do that, they do, Foreigners, we are a little bit different where I'm trying to be nice when I say that, because I'm just basing it from what's going on in Paris, what I see, to be honest, and how everybody's like, you saw in Canada, how they were like, we don't want the pass, like, how everybody's like, not wanting to follow the rules. So I'm wondering if it's smart to have the offline concert because it's not going to be just Koreans, it's gonna be a bunch of foreigners plus Korean. But I would want them to do this concert, and I'm sure they want to, obviously, especially because the US got there. They got it. They were lucky,
Okay, but the US got their concert and then 3 members got COVID.
That's true.
So gotta weigh up. True.
I know, but if you see it from the point of view of a BTS army, they got their concert. You know what I mean?
I am a BTS army, but also.
Okay. So okay. If I go to if I follow your logic, we can't blame. Okay, guys, take it easy. Okay, we just
She's trying the B word.
We can put it like, because they have the concert in the US, they get the COVID, okay. But then the BTS fans still get the chance to actually see them perform.
I guess you have to weigh up what you find to be more important. And obviously it's not like as a single army, you have that power, to actually make that decision. But I can understand why people are very excited. And if I was able to get a ticket and had the money to get a ticket, I probably still wouldn't because I'd be too nervous. Honestly, I would be too nervous. And I don't think I get one anyway. But anyway, that's beside the point. It's so tough. It's so tough. There's something about, I think I'm quite good at following the rules, to be honest.
No, you are. You're really good. Guys, she's really good at following the rules. She's a good one.
I think that the longer I follow the rules, the more cautious it makes me. So like sometimes I have this sudden fear. I think I'm so used to wearing a mask that, do you ever have that thing where you're on like the subway or the bus, or like you're out and all of a sudden you're like, am I wearing my mask? And you have that sudden fear because it's so normal to be wearing it now that I don't even feel it at times. And sometimes I'm like, oh, am I wearing it? Because you forget about it. And so I think that's like ingrained into me now.
Go ahead, finish, even.
I was just gonna say, watching shows or movies where it's obviously pre-COVID or they're pretending that COVID never happened, which I very much appreciate. I want to escape from reality. Thank you very much. It feels it gives me anxiety when people aren't wearing masks.
Well, I can totally relate to that because I was totally like you until I came here. And it's so funny how, at the beginning, I was like, mask. And I was saying like, people are not wearing their mask. I'm wearing my mask, and then slowly you just see that people are literally not following the rules. Like people are wearing, I don't have a mask with me. People are wearing,
you're gonna put a tissue over your face.
I'm using my brother's mask. Like he has like tons and tons, like 3 kinds of masks. Like these ones, and then the blue, and then the one we like, the FK92, and then there's like the white one. So people are like this all the time, it's like, what am I doing? And then people are like,
obviously French people don't breathe through their noses. That's the only possible reason, right?
So I got to that point where I was just like, okay, and then like I was very good for I would say a whole month, and now I can totally see that I'm not like as 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 usual, or when I was like, I would never think about doing that in Korea. Pretty much, let's put it this way.
Because I know you family.
Yeah. No, because first of all, because you want to follow the rules, number 1. Number 2, you don't want to be that foreigner that does not follow the rules.
Never want to be that foreigner.
And then me being a Black girl too, I don't want people like pointing out at me and be like, hey, you
that
over there.
Black girl.
Exactly. But I'm actually looking forward to come back and follow the rules.
I really like rules. I'm so anti-establishment or anti-anarchy. I'm like, okay.
I know.
I'll wear a mask. Yeah, it's tough, man.
Okay,
I have one more question before we finish up on BTS. I have one question for you, Fama.
Okay.
Would you go?
Okay. Before I reply, do you know how much are the tickets?
No, okay. Regardless of the ticket price.
Oh,
it's like an ethical, like a societal question. Would you go?
I would totally go. Because I feel like, and I love BTS. I am not like, as passionate as other people. I admit to that, but I love them. I love what they bring. I love their energy. I love what
they're amazing,
the messages live. I want to see them perform live. I want to see that. So I would go for that because I don't know when that's going to happen again, to be honest.
True.
So I would take this opportunity to actually go and see that. But
I've changed my answer, so I would definitely go, actually. Who am I kidding? They're such good performers.
I would love to see how they perform live. I've never seen them, and I love all their performance. Like, I love live performances. So every time I see them, I'm just like, yeah, that's the real deal. Yep.
Well, That timing. Wow, destiny. I was going to say, talking about events and COVID and stuff like that. Kind of not related, but a little bit related. Guess who's getting married in March?
Our favorite couple from Crash Landing on You. I always have issues with the titles. I know, but I was waiting for that, to be honest, since the movie, since the drama, and I was just like,
everyone predicted it. Everyone predicted it, didn't they? They were trying to be so chill about it, and they were like, no. And then finally a year later, they're like, hey, and everyone's like, we knew.
I mean, that chemistry was just on point. I'm so sorry.
It was there. It was there.
I love them too. I wish them all the best, and I hope we can get to see a lot of pictures and stuff like that. But I kind of feel sad for for people getting married in these days, because people have to wear masks. It's like, I had a COVID wedding, pretty much, kind of thing. It's like, okay, not their fault, but it's just like, it's probably not something you envision as your perfect wedding. But
my students were graduating in masks.
You see?
And it was they were taking cute photos, and it was so cute to see them, but I was like, I wish, for them that they wouldn't look back at these photos with masks on. Like, I'm sure that, they can take them off of the photos, but it's still like, you'll know. But I have something really cute. I don't know if you saw this, but it was adorable. I was reading that apparently, Son Ye-jin, she's called Korea's first love.
Okay.
Well, she said that Hyunbin is her first love.
Wait, so question, do we know how old are they?
Oh, that's the thing else I wanted to talk about actually today. I don't know if you've seen it, but at the same time as they announced getting married in March, Son Ye-jin, she's also starring in a new drama called 39. So I don't know if she's actually 39, but it's a new drama about women who are 39 and they're approaching 40, and they're kind of like, what am I doing in my life? Kind of fun drama.
I think a lot of people will relate to that.
Mm-hmm. I think so. So it looks like a really fun drama. Okay. So yeah, maybe 39, around that age.
Okay.
Cute though, isn't it? I was like,
see, guys, there's still time for love. We all can find love at this point. So, be hopeful. As long as we don't end up with a Tinder swindler.
I was just thinking that.
I had to put that in somewhere.
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, I want to start, but I won't. No. But yeah, super cute news, right?
That's Well, I think everybody's very happy about this news. So talking about dating. I know we keep talking about BTS today, but
okay.
I want to bring out this article that I read about how there was this post on Reddit where somebody said that BTS has been, and I think it also came as we were talking about all this discussion about Big Bang's comeback, right? And all those scandals happening within the group and the members, and how BTS has, over the 8 years they've been active, we haven't heard one single thing about them. They're clean as a baby butt. It's like,
the best part is, I have to interrupt just very quickly to say there have been I don't know, everyone has a different definition of minor, but minor scandals. So they have, in the past had misogynistic lyrics, but then now today, Rapmon RM, every time they write a song, he checks with a women's studies professor at a university to make sure that they're not misogynistic, and just to make sure, just in case. And then, obviously they, like most K-pop idols, got into trouble, trying to, what's the word? I suddenly can't think of the word.
Appropriation.
The A word. That's the one. Appropriation of Black culture. Realize that they effed up and have tried to clean up their act. So they have done things, but I think why people like them so much is because they learn from them.
See,
very
I think
publicly.
for me with BTS, I give them a pass on a lot of things because they started really young, right? And whatever they were doing at that point, they were just following whatever the label was saying. So if anything, I would not blame them. I would blame the label more than anything. And that's actually whatever's happening today is confirming that, because now they know better.
Yeah.
You know, they can make their own choices. They can speak up. They can say yes, no. They can make their own decision.
Yeah.
Where now they're being mindful of all these things that can be hurtful or wrong. I mean, I see a lot of still today, like a lot of people are still doing the wrong things, like in terms of offending cultures, offending people, offending religion. Like a lot of these things are still happening. I still don't understand why.
I don't get it.
You know, it's
just
like
stop. Don't do it.
It's freaking 2022. Like, you know, read, be educated. Like, you know, that's why all these labels, to be honest, they should have somebody focus on inclusivity and diversity, and to make sure they have the right knowledge about culture and how to talk about it and how to implement it in your song and what it's okay to do and not okay to do. But that's another podcast again. But yeah, for BTS, yeah, I feel like they are paving the path for everybody coming later and to see this is how things should be done. But
you're right. They haven't had bad scandals lately, and they also have never had scandals when it comes to dating.
Dating, they know better than that. So for most of you guys know, of course, that dating in K-pop is not a thing. It's
celibate for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, it's pretty much like, I also want to see like it's kind of forbidden. It's not being said, but it's like you're not supposed to date, period.
They have contracts. Yeah, okay. So one of the stipulations in a lot of idol contracts, and this is why I remember for like second generation idols, they used to be called slave contracts because of I remember. They were, because they were so, you know, these companies pretty much own these idols' lives, and I think dating was a huge thing. So that's why as well. You remember Hyuna?
Yeah.
Who are now getting married.
I know.
She got kicked out for dating. So that's how much how much these idols cannot date. And it would ruin their lives in a way.
That's why I go back to them. I just love how they're being so strong together and then doing what they're supposed to do with their love life, but also being successful because they deserve it. Because let's be honest, it's not fair to be kicked out because you're in love or because you're dating someone. So I think
we support, we stand.
But yeah, regarding BTS, like, so the article, the post was about, you know, we hadn't heard anything about dating and anything, and something is gonna happen where everybody's gonna be like, oh my god. And then guys, like, you know, be aware, be you know, mindful, be understanding. I mean, they need to have private lives, you know. Like, I'm all for the dating part, but to be honest, it's gonna be really, really, really tough for them because they're so well known. A lot of heartbroken hearts will be broken. Yeah, a lot of hearts
it's so
broken.
True.
Well, yeah,
it's so true. So I do think though that I was reading a similar article. I don't know if it's the same one, but some of these rumors that I was reading through were hilarious. If you guys have ever had some time to kill or you're interested, just go through all these dating rumors of BTS. And then like none of them have any basis or any foundation to them, but they're just hilarious. And I wonder like who comes up with these. Like there's this one that I was reading that says like RM has a wife and children that he's just hiding away somewhere. And that to me was just so funny. Like where'd you come up with these things? Or ones where, but the thing is, okay, I know I'm laughing, but it's very scary. I remember, so I'm a big DBSK fan, as Fama already knows, but I don't know if our listeners and our watchers
I do.
know. And Chaegang Changmin, so Max Changmin, was always my favorite, and he got married 2 years ago, and I remember just being like, oh my gosh, like, oh, I'm really happy for him. I was like, whoa. Like it was very shocking because it happened so suddenly. You know, there's been no build up to it because there can't be. And she's just a regular person and no one will ever know who she is. And, you know, it's going to be on the down low, always secret for her safety, which again is scary. But yeah, it just came out of the blue because it can't happen any other way, because otherwise these poor women would be stalked and harassed until they decided to leave the country. I bet you anything.
Yeah, with all these things, yeah, some people can be very
scary. Very, very scary.
Yeah, they would want to protect their significant other. I believe so. I would recommend to do so, to be honest.
I thought you meant the fans wanted to protect their significant other.
No.
I was like, Mama, are you one of them?
No, yeah. Like, yeah.
It is crazy, to be honest. I'm so curious to know like who it's going to be first. I mean, they're all still so young. Like as I was saying to Fama earlier, we were talking about this RM rumor, and I was saying it's kind of crazy to me that he's only 1 year older than I am, and he's so much more successful than I am. He's got so much stress. He's so effing busy. He's got like the entire world watching him, and you think he has time to have a family?
He will like, even have to make time for that. He will have to make time for that at
later, but not at 20. How old am I? Not at 27.
But you know what's interesting is at some point, members of BTS will have to get something more fulfilling than just making music, because they're reaching that point where you know what is missing? A Grammy. You know, no, but seriously, like
Sugar sleeping with his Grammy.
You know, like what is missing? Like once you can, you know, you can sing, you can have any collabo you want. You can perform anywhere.
And they're still not calling me. It's so strange. No, but you're right. You're right. You know, I think it is the last box to tick in a really cold way. You know,
professionally, there's nothing to achieve anymore. Like it's just like, you know, for them, like, you know, just spread more goodness and stuff like that. But personally, oh Lord, what are you laughing about?
I was just thinking like, what else could they do? And I was like, do you think BTS will go to space? It's not even like shocking. I'm not even like, oh, it's impossible. I bet you BTS will go to space. I bet you anything.
You know, that's what I'm saying. We're at this point where, you know, they can do anything they want.
It's so true. And again, like I said, they're still not contacting me. It makes no sense.
Guys, if you would like to jump in and try to understand why BTS is not contacting Hannah, please let us know.
No, actually, please don't. I don't want to wake up. I don't want to face reality. I'm very happy here.
Guys, please, only nice comments over here. We're spreading love. Only good vibes.
Please don't cancel me. That awkward moment when. But yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah. Well, I think that kind of concludes almost everything for today.
To be honest, sorry, I was just going to say, to be honest, I don't think you can really top BTS going to space. So I feel like we kind of have to end it here. It can't get better than this, right?
I agree. And that's why, guys, we're going to close this podcast today. Feel free to let us know in the comment section anything we discussed about, your opinion, what you thought about. Are you going to the concert? Are you excited about the concert? Are you going to watch the concert? Like, let us know so we can, you know, comment along with you. And we had talked about wedding news. Hannah is almost done with All of Us Are Dead, so we'll probably talk about it next week. And yes, let us know if you guys want to talk about specific topics. You know, we can always hold like live sessions and Q&A and stuff like that. Okay.
Yes, please let us know all of your thoughts. And like Fama said earlier, please do let me know if you have any idea why BTS aren't reaching out to me for a collaboration, because honestly, it just doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, also other things I'd love to hear your opinions on. And like Fama said, it would be so much fun to do maybe a live or Q&A sessions. I actually did a live mukbang on my channel the other day, which was a lot of fun. So
how did it go?
Really well. I had a lot of fun. It wasn't just my friends either, like some, you know, real people. Ooh. Also were viewing. We did a Korean McDonald's mukbang, so trying out. So I got people to vote for the Korean McDonald's items that they wanted me to try out.
That's
Get
so
a shrimp
cool.
burger, which was, there was a sausage wrap. And the rest you'll have to check out on my channel. But I'm going to be doing, when you come back to Korea, you'll have to join me. I'm going to be doing live mukbangs every Tuesday on my channel.
Oh, that's going to be fun. I'm down.
Yeah.
Food, I'm there.
My whole life is about food. Yeah, my whole life is about food. So I thought I would, I'll do. I need to have to eat dinner now, actually. But please let us know your thoughts, everyone. Thank you so much for listening and watching. As always, we love you very, very much. And we will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye.